Hey everyone, the Mormon Truther here, back with another video today discussing Joseph Smith. Was he a false prophet? Now, many people argue that he made several prophecies and predictions that were out and out bogus or did not in fact come to pass. Most notably, the Garden of Eden in Jackson County, Missouri. Now, here's the thing. In that instance, you gotta take into account, he didn't say, "Thus saith the Lord," that this is the gateway to Garden of Eden, that the Garden of Eden was right here. He just speculated. Right? Which, he's human. You gotta take into account this guy is human. He's not perfect, and he can speculate and insinuate some stupid stuff. That doesn't mean that he's not a prophet. It just means that he's a human being and occasionally can have some stupid ideas, just like we all do. Other prophecies, such as dates pertaining to the return of Christ, or that a temple would have been erected in a certain spot. You know, maybe the temple was going to be erected in that spot and in his lifetime, before that generation passed away, as per the prophecy. But, you know, things change. Remember the saying, if you do not keep the commandments, you have no promise? You know, maybe God did promise that the temple would be built in their lifetime. But being that they screwed up for whatever reason, God said, "Oh, sorry, you guys are screwing up. I'm not obligated to do nothing." You know, that's something that's not being taken into account here. As for his alleged revelation that Christ would return on such a date, I'm not seeing anything in here that Joseph Smith wrote saying that Jesus or God or anybody else would return on said date. And I say anybody else very loosely. I'm not specifying that there are other people or whatnot who are going to come here. I'm just saying, just for the sake of saying, nobody is specified to return on any specific date. Now, it could have been insinuated, you know, just like with the Garden of Eden. But again, it's just insinuation, thinking, speculating of a human being. Now, if we want to argue that Joseph Smith couldn't have been a prophet because he screwed up in his lifetime, you know, referencing the polygamy thing, you know, if you really, really want to get down to the nitty-gritty about this, that's fairly hypocritical to say. You know, just because somebody is not a, quote, perfect human being, does not necessarily mean they are not a prophet of God. Because one, our standards are not necessarily God's standards. Okay? And two, the only individual that was perfect from the time of Adam until present day, the only perfect being to walk this earth was and will always be only Jesus Christ. That is accepted throughout Christendom, whether you are LDS, Catholic, mainstream Christian, whether Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, whatever. Okay? That is a universal thing. Jesus was the only perfect being to ever walk the earth. However, people like to attribute that a prophet has to, in some way, be perfect. That you have to be a perfect being and live a perfect life and be completely flawless in order to be a prophet, or else you're a false prophet and a charlatan and all this. But they're not taking into account all the prophets of the Old Testament who were screw-ups. Example, Adam walked with God daily. sinned, got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, but was still visited by angels and was ministered to and led by the Spirit of God. You know? Cain spoke with God. After murdering his brother, committing the first murder, God came to Cain and said, "Hey, where's your brother?" "I don't know, I'm not my brother's keeper." Okay? Cain wasn't perfect. Moses, by way of God and the power of God, led the people out of Egypt, out of their bondage, into the desert, split the Red Sea, performed all kinds of miracles by way of God, spoke with God, delivered the Ten Commandments on behalf of God to the children of Israel, and led them all the way to the Promised Land. He screwed up before even meeting God. Killed a man. And even after having met God and returned to Egypt, continued to sin, disobeying God. God says, "Go and talk to the rock." He smites the rock with his staff. Okay, not exactly listening too well. You know, if he were perfect, why was Moses banned from entering the Promised Land along with everybody else from that generation? All of that generation had to pass away, and the next generation got to enter Israel. That's why they were in the desert, in the wilderness for 40 years. Okay. Again, Jonah. Poor Jonah. Directly disobeyed God. Still a prophet of God. Disobeyed God and attempted to run away and got eaten by a fish. Okay? And it wasn't until he repented of his sins that the fish spit him up and he was able to go back and actually do God's work. But he was still a prophet. Okay? Didn't make him any less of a prophet just because he sinned and was sitting in the belly of a fish. Now did it? Okay? So if all these people, Adam on up, were sinners and not perfect, then how could we expect anything more of Joseph Smith or any other prophet of God? They're human beings. They're not perfect. They're gonna screw up. They're gonna sin. They're gonna say and do stupid things. You know, whether we like it or not, that doesn't mean that they're not necessarily prophets of God. It just means they're human. Because, as we all know and accept, the only perfect being to walk this earth was Jesus Christ. And Joseph Smith and any other prophet to walk this earth, whether now, then, or in the future, is not Jesus Christ, and thus is anything but perfect. Just something to keep in mind. Till next time, I'm the Mormon Truther. Take care.